We've just come back from visiting the beautiful country of Brunei. However, here are 17 things we wish we knew before visiting. So let's start with number one, visas. So before you arrive in the country, you need to sort out your visa. If you're from countries like the UK, the US, or a lot of Europe, so you can get 90 days free in the country without a visa. However, make sure you do check online about your own country's visa before you arrive in the country. Number two is Brunei use the Brunei dollar, which is one of the strongest currencies in the whole of Southeast Asia. So £1 is roughly $1.74, and $1 converts to about $1.28 Brunei dollars.
So the best time to visit Brunei is between March and October. This is the country's dry season, so there's going to be a lot less rainfall. However, it is a tropical climate and you may experience some rainfall. We visited in July and we did experience a little bit of drizzle, but it wasn't anything heavy and it didn't last for very long. So don't let that put you off.
So when visiting Brunei, you have to be aware of the Sultan of Brunei. He is like the main figure in the whole of the country, and you have to be careful what you say. You can't say anything bad about him or you could end up in prison. So it's something to be aware of. Obviously, it's not something you go around talking about normally, so just don't make a habit of saying anything negative about the Sultan.
It's the same as in countries like Thailand. You can't say anything bad about the king there, but in Brunei, the people absolutely love their Sultan. They love him, so it's no issue.
No.
And moving on from that, number 5, the Sultan's birthday is a huge deal. The whole country comes out to celebrate. We were lucky enough to be there on the Sultan's birthday, and it was just amazing to be part of the celebrations. The whole city transforms. There was beautiful lights over the streets. There was this huge military parade. The Sultan came round on the back of a jeep and was waving at the crowds and everything. So we got a front row view of that. It was absolutely amazing. We highly recommend visiting for the Sultan's birthday if you can.
There are also loads of markets that are set up with fresh street food and stuff, and these markets normally last for about a month. So if you do miss the Sultan's birthday, you can still participate in the celebrations by going to one of the markets.
The celebrations do vary each year, so just talk to the locals when you get there. You won't find any information online. We looked, we couldn't find anything about it. Just talk to the locals when you're there.
So if you're planning on going to Brunei, be aware that their official language is Malaysian. However, most people do also speak English. It is their second language, so you don't need to worry about that. People will be able to speak English and you'll be able to communicate just fine.
Yes. So, number 7. This is a place you cannot miss when you're in Brunei, and that is Kampong Ayer, the floating village. This is the largest floating village in the world, and it's just amazing to walk around, to see how the locals live, to see the traditional way of life. Once upon a time, the whole of Brunei was over the water, so this kind of gives you a glimpse into the Brunei of the past. Even now they're building new builds over the water, so it really is just a way of life for them, and it's fascinating to see.
So linking to that, to get to the floating village, it costs $1 Brunei dollar, and you just take a local taxi boat from one side of the river to the other. However, if you don't want to do that, the boat drivers will still keep coming up to you and offering you not just the taxi journeys, but also whole river cruises that you can do. So just be aware, you probably will get asked a lot of times if you do want to go on their boat.
We were just walking along the river, and the number of taxi boats that came up, it almost became a joke. Let's have a competition who can guess how many are going to come up by the time we reach the bridge, kind of thing. But it's all fun, and they're just making their living, so we don't mind. Okay, so number 9 is something we didn't expect, and the locals in Brunei are the friendliest people we have ever met. We didn't expect them to be rude or anything, but the amount of kindness we were shown is phenomenal. You know, we were at a market, we bought 1 drink, they gave us 2. Someone else gave us another free drink because they just wanted to try it. Everyone was so friendly, and the people of Brunei just make it just such an amazing place, and that was something that we loved about it. It honestly left us with such a warm feeling inside, and yes, the people of Brunei are amazing.
So the capital of Brunei is called Bandar. However, a lot of people just stick to that one city. However, there is a lot to offer outside of the city. There's huge canopy walks where you can walk over the trees.
Yes.
Loads of wildlife inside the jungles. There's even beaches on the opposite side of the country. So if you have the time, definitely check out more of the country.
I think a crazy percentage of Brunei is rainforest. Like a significant percentage is still just untouched natural rainforest. So definitely head out and explore that. Moving on to number 11, dress code. Okay, Brunei is a very religious Muslim country, very strongly. So it is important to dress respectfully. You're not going to get punished if you don't, but like, don't be that person that wears shorts and a crop top around Brunei. Make sure your knees are covered, particularly as a woman. Make sure your knees are covered, make sure your shoulders are covered, and it should be fine.
So when you are visiting, make sure you carry quite a bit of cash, because it is quite a cash heavy country. If you go to any of like the markets or even the shops, a lot of places will only accept cash. There are a few ATMs dotted around as well, so you can get money out there, but don't expect to be able to pay card everywhere you go.
So number 13, one thing that shocked us, we arrived in Brunei around midday. We went out for a little walk along the river and it was dead. There was no one there.
Like, we know Brunei isn't the most touristy country, but there wasn't even locals there.
No, like the only people we saw were the boat drivers we said about earlier. But yeah, it was kind of weird. Don't let that put you off, because everyone's just working. Like, that's just how it is there. It's not like London where, you know, some people work on the weekends, some people don't, and everyone's working. Everyone's at school. So it is quiet in the day, but that's quite nice, quite peaceful.
However, linking to that, if you do want to get an amazing sense of community and see so many people, definitely head out in the evenings.
Yes.
There's a little like grass patch in front of, like, there's a big frame between the river and the mosque, and there's so many people, loads of families, flying kites, blowing bubbles. It's just so like harmonious and peaceful. So if you do want to head out and trying to find people, definitely check out the evenings.
Number 15. I'm going to take this one. Brunei is not the best country for vegetarians and vegans. I struggled there. In fact, if it wasn't for the Sultan's birthday and the market, I would have been on pot noodles every night. But I mean, if you're happy doing that, then it's fine.
Yeah.
If you go to like the markets, you can find like the odd stall that will do you like a vegetarian noodle or something. But then even then, a lot of them will still have like fish and things like that in. So you have to be really careful. And it honestly is not the best country for vegetarians. I did struggle a bit.
Make sure you ask before as well, because a lot of them might look vegetarian, but they might have fish sauce in. So if you ask, they're more than happy to say.
Yeah.
So point number 16 is linking to the amazing amount of wildlife in Brunei. Be aware of the monkeys, because there aren't too many compared to other places in Southeast Asia. However, we did see a few rummaging around in bins and stuff, so just be aware of those. And also crocodiles. It's not a common problem you have travelling Southeast Asia. However, in Brunei there's quite a high number of saltwater crocodiles, and they can be very dangerous. So not that you probably would, but don't go in the water, or if you're on a boat, don't try and stick your hand in, because that might be a croc's lunch.
We did see a crocodile in the river, right in the middle of the city. And lastly, talking about the wildlife, you have to do a river cruise. We have a great contact for this. We will leave it below. Mel, he's amazing. Honestly, the best tour guide. It's just such an amazing, it was the highlights of our Brunei trip. You go on a boat down the river, you can see proboscis monkeys, you can see silver langurs, you can see crocodiles, you can see just such an amazing array of wildlife. You will also go through like the floating village. You'll get the chance to walk on the floating village, and it's just the best experience. I think it was meant to last like an hour and a half, and ours ended up lasting 3 hours because Mel's just amazing. So make sure you book your trip with Mel. We'll leave his details in the description, and you have to do it.
So just before we finish, we thought we'd give you a little bonus tip. Is that a lot of people online seem to have this negative view towards Brunei, like it's boring, there's nothing to do, why would anyone visit? Do not trust them.
No.
Like, we had the most amazing time there. The locals are so friendly. We spent nearly a week there and we can't wait to go back. There's so much we didn't do. So if you do want to go, don't let other people's opinions put you off, because we found it to be absolutely amazing.
But if you are after like nightlife, not the place to be.
No.
It's Muslim, alcohol's banned, not the place to be. Probably should have included that as one of the tips.
Yeah,
but I
another
mean,
bonus
there's,
tip.
number 19. There you go. But yeah, it's a very peaceful way of life, but also a very beautiful way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an amazing country to explore, and we highly recommend it. So if you found these tips useful, don't worry, you don't need to make notes, because I have done that for you. I have made like a download of all the tips, so you can just click the link in the description, enter your email address and all of that, and then you can download these tips to refer back to, so don't worry about forgetting them, because it's right there for you.
So if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so we can share with you more amazing travel tips from beautiful countries around the world.